legislature that to accord the agency more authorities in making sure concession affected communities. National government immensely benefit from every concession agreement signed. He noted that the institution's recent 10 years engagement toward with concessions in the Southeast brought to light several things that might be addressed amicably to enhance national development. The 14th Judicial Circuit Court in Riverside County has sentenced a 55-year-old man, a Nigerian national Joe Oka, to 10 years imprisonment for drug trafficking. Delivering the ruling, resident George Olisimon Banwon stated that the defendant was arrested on December 13, 2025, by officers of the Liberian Drug Enforcement Agency assigned in Riverside County. Defendant Oka was apprehended in Solo Town Village, Yanning District, with a consignment of multiple narcotic substances. According to the court, the arrest followed the execution of search and seizure warrants on the defendant's premises. During the search, LDEA agents discovered and confiscated several illicit substances from what was described as the defendant's chemist or mixing room. The items seized including marijuana, kush, and substance locally known as lawo, with an estimated street value of 198,000 Liberian dollars. Justice in Chambers of the Supreme Court, Justice James Ethel Howard Watercoley has overturned commercial court ruling ordering status quo preserved in petroleum arbitration despite dispute between Streamex Oil and Gas Company and the Liberian Petroleum Refining Company. In her recent ruling, she found that the lower court erred by refusing to issue a preliminary injunction that would protect the integrity of the arbitration process, emphasizing that such a measure was necessary to safeguard the arbitration proceedings. The judgment issued during the October term AD 2025, Justice Wolokoli held that while the commercial court currently order arbitration under the 20 years petroleum storage agreement between Streamex and LPRC is misapplied the law by declining to grant the injunctive relief needed to ensure the arbitration process could proceed without disruption. The executive director of the Liberia Labor and Governance Alliance has alleged that a number of Ministry of Labor employees on Thursday attacked him and threw him out of the ministry premises. George Tengmer, who said was warned never to step at the ministry, narrated that the incident occurred when he attempted assisting a cleaner who he saw working without safety boots and hand gloves. Tengmer further cited that workers' actions is as the result of stance regarding nepotism and bad labor practices allegations against the Minister of Labor, Cooper Cry. Meanwhile, in response to the allegation, Deputy Director of Public Works at the Labor Ministry, Frederick Bay, denied the assertion, stating that Tengmer should have rather gone on company sites and report labor abuse to the ministry. According to Bay, the Ministry of Labor is not a concession company that is into exploration to give workers safety gears. The Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Service, LEGIS, has officially launched its national strategy for the development of statistics and to comply quarterly gross domestic product estimates. Speaking at the launching ceremony, LEGIS Director General Rachel Gafuan stated that statistics related to national income will remain current as the institution proceeds in 2026 and beyond, emphasizing LEGIS' commitment to maintaining up-to-date and reliable economic data. He disclosed that in collaboration with the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, LEGIS has formulated a national population policy that is currently awaiting endorsement. President Joseph Boakai Thursday launched the commission and newly constructed headquarters of the Liberia Standards Authority. The ceremony took place at a compound of the Ministry of Public Works on UN Drive in Monrovia, drawing members of the cabinet and diplomatic corps, development partners, and stakeholders from across the public and private sectors. In his keynote remarks, President Boakat described the occasion as far more than the unveiling of a new building. Rather, it is about strengthening an institution that is essential to Liberia's economic transformation. He noted that robust standards protect consumers, support businesses, and foster trust in both domestic and international market, adding that a nation that hopes standards builds trust both at home and abroad. Several persons living with disabilities on Thursday staged a peaceful protest at the Liberia National Police Zone 4 depot in Gardnersville District, condemning what they describe as the arbitrary arrest and detention of their children. The protesters, many of whom were seen gathered outside the police compound from early morning, accused state security officers of targeting their children, who they insist them in street begging for survival. The aggrieved group maintained that their children were taken into custody without proper justification. According to the demonstrators, that children serve as guards and companions on the streets, where they solicit alms to support their family. The disabilities protesters further alleged that the action was carried out in collaboration with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, which they accused of removing the children from the streets without providing alternative means of support for their affected families. Former Vice President Joel Howard Taylor has described the death of her son, Philip Charles Taylor, as the greatest challenge of her life. She made a statement Wednesday during the funeral service held in Banga, where she also expressed deep gratitude for overwhelming support received across Liberia. Speaking at the ceremony, the former Vice President thanked God for what she described as his mercy and grace, noting that her faith has remained strong despite the painful loss. The former vice president noted that the difficult moment has tested her strength, adding that she remains hopeful and trusting in God. Madam Howard Taylor further extended appreciation to national and local leaders, including members of the Broom County Legislative Caucus, government officials, traditional leaders, members of the clergy, and representatives of various political institutions who have stood by her family since the passing of her son. Employees of the Environmental Protection Agency of Liberia have honored Dr. Emmanuel Ure Yakpawo, Executive Director of the agency, for what they describe as strong and transformational leadership over the years. They highlighted key achievements under its leadership, including securing a new home for the EPA, providing vehicles, increasing salaries, and strengthening unity and teamwork. According to the EPA workers, the agency is now more active nationwide with stronger enforcement of environmental laws and better engagement with partners. In response, Dr. Emmanuel Ure Yakpawo thanked the employees for the honor he described as it is blessing and reflection of teamwork, urging all staff and the management team to remain united and continue building a stronger EPA for Liberia. And an American evangelist is admonishing Liberian youth to prepare themselves for a brighter future, noting that youth in Liberia constitutes a significant number. Therefore, they should be able to take full responsibility. Jeff Wilberhurst wants young Liberians to begin training themselves for the future because the current generation is fading gradually. He spoke at the day 3 of the 7th Barnwell General Conference of the Apostle Pentecostal Church International in Barnesville, Asamoah Rover, on Thursday. Meanwhile, the executive director of the Church Aid Incorporated, Miata Saliv, has given full account of the relief wing of the Apostolic Pentecostal Church International. According to Mother Saliv, the Church Aid Incorporated has trained 10-year and hearing medical professionals, provided hearing treatment for over 20,000 people, and provided birth certificate to thousands of children.
Jen and Pessiman with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's News Broom. A reminder you're listening to King's News Broom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa in our one word. Stories we follow in this afternoon. National Bureau of Concession Director General calls for reform in Mineral Development Agreement formulation for enhanced national development. DG Henson Kiazulu discloses over US 10 million generation through compliance monitoring. 14th Judicial Circuit Court in Riverside County sentences 55-year-old Nigerian national Joe Okai to 10 years imprisonment for drug trafficking. Now in the news this afternoon, Supreme Court Justice in Chimot, James Eto Howard Wolo Colley orders preserved petroleum arbitration dispute overturns commercial court ruling in Simers Oil and Gas Company and the Liberia Petroleum Refining Company. Away from home, at least 34 people have been killed in coordinated attacks by suspected Islamist militants on several villages in northwestern Nigeria, officials have told the BBC. We'll take a break to be back with voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back and thanks for being there. Authorities of the National Bureau of Concession has announced the institution's generation of more than US 10 million through compliance monitoring. The Bureau new Director General Henson Kiazulu, who took over the institution on November 28, 2025, is making significant progress in ensuring that concessionaires are in compliance. Speaking before members of the House of Representatives during its Thursday session, Kiazulu called for reform in the way mineral development agreements are made in Liberia to positively impact concessions outsourcing of local content. According to him, there are challenges in holding investors accountable on certain things because they are not reflected in the law.
We were able to generate through compliance monitoring little over 10 billion. So we are doing our part, and you people as our leaders should help us to help the Liberian people by giving us some extra tea to buy. Labor issues are being outsourced. There's nowhere in any of those agreements I've been going through. Though I'm just 2.5 months old, as Director General, I've been making my business, or I've taken it as part of my business to actually start reading the concessions, ITIP concessions agreement. When we received the invitation, we realized that the outsourcing labor did not enforce the concessionaire to look at the local content for outsourcing. We are like your friends, but not have benefited from the labor outsourcing by these concessionaires. And no part of the law gave us the power as compliant monitoring agency to force them when they are outsourcing to look at our local content. This brings us to a key recommendations that going forward will appear before you in any review. A local content shouldn't just be goods. Services as well should prioritize local content, especially the labor force. Most of our laws have given us authority to monitor compliance of the people. I was in the Southeast for 10 days. I came down to Grand Bazaar, and I can safely tell.
Henson Kiazuru is the Director General of the National Bureau of Concession speaking during his appearance. at the House of Representatives on Thursday. The executive director of the Liberal Labor and Governance Alliance has alleged that a number of the Ministry of Labor employees on Thursday attacked him and threw him out of the ministry premises. George Tembe, who said he was warned never to step at the ministry, narrated that the incident occurred when he attempted assisting a cleaner who he saw working without safety boot and hand gloves.
I saw a lady working like she was cleaning the floor, mopping the floor. So I was shocked to see that she had no gloves on her hands. The clothes she was wearing wasn't even clean. There was no shoes on her feet, no protective gears on her, because when you mop the floor, you are mopping it with Dettol, with Chloride and stuff. So then I walked to her. I didn't want to raise it out of concern, because if I was going to raise it out of concern according to the management, they will again want to blackmail me that I went to the ministry to go and do that. So I went to the lady politely. My sister, how are you? She said, okay. I said, please, the work you're doing here, you're supposed to be wearing some protective gears then, but you're not wearing it. Give me your mobile money number. Let me transfer you something for you to buy them, for you to protect yourself. Right in that situation, the human resource director jumped into the conversation, saying that I have no right to talk to the lady. In fact, the lady is not an employee of the Ministry of Labor. So my concern was, even if she is a contractor, she should be protected. Then he created another justification that the lady could come from the kitchen. I don't know, maybe she wasted something. All of these justifications didn't even match. In no time, I was attacked. More than 10 workers from the Ministry of Labor came downstairs pushing issues on me that are in the George Stengberg, that are on Facebook, writing things against the Ministry of Labor. I have to say these things that I talk about are not legit. Contractors down there have not been paid for 13 months. The minister is begging them for him to pay them for 2 months, and he promising them to put on payroll. These are facts. Corruption has engulfed the sector. The sector has been nepotized. Minister Corporate Crime Ministry will come out and make a useless statement against those workers, forgetting to understand that Section 17.1 protect all of these workers. So when we talk about these things, then they brand me. So I was denied entry, and as I speak to you, the Director for Communication at the Ministry of Labor passed a message to the protocol and said that going forward, I have been denied entrance at the Ministry of Labor. But this is something that I would say, Mr. Cooper Crown, you cannot dictate to the Liberian people how the ministry should be run. We will checkmate you, and we will tell the Ministry of Labor to do the right thing if they are doing the wrong thing against the interests of the people.
Josh Tembe is the executive director of the Liberia Labor and Governance Alliance. Meanwhile, in response to the allegations, Deputy Director of Public Affairs at the Labor Ministry, Frederick Bay, denied the assertion, stating that Tembe should have rather gone on company sites and report labor abuse to the ministry. According to Bay, the Ministry of Labor is not a concession company that is into exploration to give workers safety gears.
Well, we have no idea on this. I mean, if George Tembe has a problem with some staff in the Ministry of Labor, I think if he officially brings his complaint to all, we'll probe into it. I'm just hearing it from you that George Tembe came, and I don't know what his role is, whether he came to post labor on somebody for, or he came to investigate labor issue. No prior notices to the ministry official, nothing. And whatever transpired between him and some the place is full of agreed workers. Maybe they took him to be one of the managers who treated them, and they jump on him down there. Maybe, maybe, because I don't know what really went on. That's our reaction there. We have no idea on Tembe coming to investigate labor case at the Ministry of Labor, and then somebody in the ministry who work here supposed to, attack him. No, Labor Ministry staff came to work. Why appropriate gear? What laser gear? Why he consider appropriate gear? Labor Ministry is not a construction company. They don't drill here. They don't do underground mining. So you expect the worker at Labor Ministry to be wearing helmets and boots to come here, or what? Why is he saying boots that come to Labor Ministry? Labor Ministry is official arm of Liberian government that regulate labor affairs. So officials that come to work, they dress uniquely, and they come to work somewhere that jacket. If you're telling me that some people work at private company and they came with a complaint and they were not in their dressing of regalia, then you got to go to that company site to know whether they're not wearing it there. It's possible that when they come to the ministry, they wear something else. The Ministry of Labor has workers here. they dress in accordance with the government Liberia dress code, which all Liberians, including yourself, you dress the way you dress, you go to work. So if you get a specific dress code given by the Liberian government that the Ministry of Workers, according to him, I'm not going by, let him list them and give them to you so you can respond to it. Yes, you know that government of Liberia, they dress nearly come to work. Especially some of our inspectors will come with when they go out of town, they wear that jacket with a little boot, that sneaker, they come. Somebody will come and be looking at people dress code and say, they're not dressing well in the Ministry of Labor. So I don't know what he's saying. If we say that, then we'll have a problem. But one George Temple is not coming telling people in the very ministry, is that the job that he's doing now in the labor sector, how people dress? Let him go to the money side. Let him go to Boko and JD and bring a report from there. Let him go to our commissioner across the country and help. If there are any violations, let him bring it to our attention. Let him start looking for our attention, and then, unless our publicity, they may accuse the minister falsely of corruption. He's flying all over the place. He forget to know that the ministry has people who might not like the way he's behaving. We are not the official people in the ministry. So he got to be a little bit, responsible in how you go about with advocacy.
Deputy Director of Public Affairs at the Labor Ministry, Frederick Bay. Earlier you heard the voice of George Tembe, Executive Director of the Liberia Labor and Governance Alliance. The Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services has officially launched its national strategy for the development of statistics and to compile quarterly gross domestic product estimates. Speaking at the launching ceremony, LAGE's Director General Rachel Gafuan stated that statistics related to national income will remain current as the institution proceeds into 2026 and beyond, emphasizing LAGE's commitment to maintaining up-to-date and reliable economic data.
When you see inflation statistics, whether it is published by the central bank, the source is from LAGES. For the first time, during our administration, LAGES has compiled quarterly gross domestic product estimate. This is a landmark achievement because for a long time coming, LAGES has not achieved that. But we will make sure that statistics related to national account will remain current as we proceed into 2026 and beyond. Irrespective of these various reports that we are releasing today, LAGES, in collaboration and with support from the UNFP, we formulated the National Population Policy pending full endorsement by the Liberian Cabinet. This National Population Policy is the second post-war national population policy for our country. The last was published is about 20 years ago now. So this is a significant achievement. The national population policy will be able to ensure that the various components of population change, migration, mortality, and we as a people are looking at the statistics, but we will be talking about ways to intervene, policy decision making that will transform these various statistics for the good of our people and for the upliftment of our country. Again, we collaborated with the UNFPA. The UNFPA supported the hiring of consultants for the formulation of the national strategy for the development of statistics. For all statisticians, the NSDS is a major guiding tool. You cannot move forward without the NSDS. Without the NSDS, you are like a ship without a rudder. You are like a chicken without a head. You are like a man walking in darkness without a light. So the NSDS, this again is a major achievement because the NSDS will guide the activity of statistics not only for LAGES but the entire national statistical system. It will be able to ensure that the capacity of ministries and agencies that are involved in the collection and compilation of data is being fostered. And we are told that this is the third national strategy for the development of statistics. But arguably, this national strategy for the development of statistics is the second most available, publishable, and available national strategy for the development of statistics for
Also speaking during the ceremony, Grand Cape Mount Senator and the Senate Chairperson of the Population and Development, Dabai Vapala, called for immediate action following the release of critical national data, stressing the need to translate statistics into tangible progress for the country. Senator Vapala, who launched the activities, underscored the importance of ensuring that data more effectively informs policy formulation and national development planning.
As we together mark these important milestones towards quality national data release for planning and policy, it is a homecoming for me, and I'm grateful, Mr. D. The launch of statistical products is not an event. The process includes releasing, disseminating, and upgrading data-driven tools, reports and platform designed to provide insights into economic, social, and environmental trends, not forgetting the need for endorsement by the cabinet. As we launch these products, the need to look at key aspects mentioned super needs no much emphasis. Today, therefore, marks a significant step towards the achievement of quality and readily available data to support national policy and planning. Several important products have been presented here today, but what are we going to do with it? As I sat there and looked at the presentations and listened to the issues that were presented by the presenter, and then followed by the practical statement of my dear sister from UN Women, what are we going to do with the numbers? Are these just an attempt to achieve a mandate of Liz and her partners, or we just gather here and listen to the number because the schedule provides that we're supposed to be here and we should present these products? The sooner we begin to take this information and use them as a nation, the better for us. Today in Liberia, let me just mention agriculture, just agriculture. Many reports have informed us as a people that agriculture is the key, is the driver of our economy, and by extension, our nation's development. But where are we? We have the soil, we have the policies, we have weather, we have everything available. But year on year, we are still at where we've been several decades ago. So today, before I launch the policy, I want to call upon all of us in the room. Let us be ambassadors to take this report very seriously.
Green Cape Mount County Senator and the Senate Chairperson on its Population and Development Committee, Senator Dabai Vapala. Ella, you heard the voice of Legis Director General Richard Gaffwan. Every morning you listening to King's Newsroom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa in our one word. Stories we follow in this afternoon. National Bureau of Construction Director General calls for reform in Mineral Development Agreement formulation for enhanced national development. DG Henson Kiazuru discloses over US 10 million generation through compliance monitoring. 14th Judicial Circuit Court in Riverside County sentences 55-year-old Nigerian national Joe Okai to 10 years imprisonment for drug trafficking. Supreme Court Justice in Chambers James Eto Howard Wolokoli orders preserved petroleum arbitration dispute overturns commercial court rulings in Cimex Oil and Gas Company and the Liberia Petroleum Refining Company. Away from home, at least 34 people have been killed in coordinated attacks by suspected Islamist militants on several villages in northwestern Nigeria, officials have told the BBC. Police in South Africa have arrested the youngest son of Zimbabwe's late former President Robert Mugabe, who is facing a charge of attempted murder after a reported shooting at a property in an upmarket suburb of Johannesburg. We'll take another break to be back with more voices, including our forward news. Welcome back and thanks for being there. APN 10 Minutes Liberia Ltd has announced a major reduction in rice handling charges and introduction of modern discharge methods at the free port of Monrovia. The move is expected to ease logistics costs across Liberia's rice supply chain. The measures, which took effect on February 1, 2026, include a 4.3 or under 3% adjustment to selected port service charges linked to handling, alongside incentives designed to encourage faster discharge and more efficient cargo movement. Kings FM intern reporter Lodina Elliott reports.
In a move expected to reduce logistic costs across Liberia rice supply chain, APM Terminals Liberia Limited has announced a reduction in rice handling charges and the introduction of modern cargo discharge methods at the free port of Monrovia. The new measures, which took effect on February 1, 2026, include a 4.73% adjustment to selected post-service charges linked to rice handling. The company has also introduced incentives aimed at encouraging faster discharge and more efficient cargo movement. Importers bringing rice into the country on breakbulk vessel can now receive a $5 per ton handling discount when the rice is delivered. In addition, continuous rice imports will qualify for volume-based discounts and extra free time at the terminal. According to APM Terminals Liberia Limited, the transition to modern discharge methods is designed to improve vessel turnaround time, reduce affordable delays, and limit demurrage costs for importers. The incentives will remain in effect throughout 2026. While retail rice prices are influenced by broader global market conditions, the company says the initiative is intended to ensure smoother cargo flow and improve cost efficiency for one of Liberia's most essential stable commodities. Reporting from the newsroom, I am Lodina Elliott.
Lieutenant Elliott there reporting. Several persons living with disabilities on Thursday staged a peaceful protest at the Liberia National Police Zone 4 depot in Ghanasville District, condemning what they describe as the arbitrary arrest and detention of their children. The protester seen gather outside the police compound from early morning accused state security officers of targeting their children, whom they say assist them in street begging for survival.
Then they can bring it here. But go to the nearby police station in your district. Go and sign for your child.
Where they arrested your child?
They arrested my child to Banana Junction.
To Banana Junction. By what time exactly?
At 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock. And they brought your child here.
So that money.
But the police here are saying your
us. We said over here and there in a car when we were going to car pull on. And when second I was going there again to pull on. Then other woman were coming, they came a grab or son and put up to the police at the car.
So with the exception of your child, they also carry other.
They after school clothes operate as a rescue mission. But the general ministry lying to JMB, and not JMB, who is the deacon in the church.
When you say lying to the
very good, that get wrong information to plead his son for his job to be protected, to know that JMB to know that he working in line with the government, helping the disabled people. He honestly registered Jeremy the King. He said he empowered disabled people. He gave $500 US. Flatland, I understand so. I can challenge China ministry. And Dr. G. Johnson and they can't help us. My child of the Bible church. I can challenge China ministry. My child attended school. I was attending school. Flatland, now only $120 US they gave. So disabled people and they down $120 US. And he cannot either go across the $120 US. They cannot even take this party in the street, but they get some.
Voices of people living with disabilities during a peaceful protest on Thursday. President Joseph Boakai on Thursday launched and commissioned the newly constructed headquarters of the Liberia Standard Authority. The ceremony took place at the compound of the Ministry of Public Works and UN Draft in Monrovia, drawing members of the cabinet, diplomatic corps, investment, that's development partners, and stakeholders from across the public and private sectors. In his keynote remarks, President Boakai described the occasion as far more than unveiling of a new building. Rather, it is about strengthening an institution that is essential to Liberia's economic transformation.
I think we've listened already to a lot of the keynote addresses, but the issue of sometimes is very practical, and we need to make it known. Because even the people in the market demand, they don't know how corrupt they are by what they do. Taking the tins and knocking the bottom with the peanut in there, they don't know how much they cheat other people to make profit. I live in this country and I have been very vigilant. There was a time we had a quality shoe on the market way back, some of you remember, called Liquid 60. Liquid 60 was nice, well packaged. And by the time we looked, because Living 60 has been sold all over as a Loving 60. The same packaging, but sometimes people don't know what they call hitting inflation. Sometimes it look the same, but it's not the same. And then when I looked, I saw Irving 60, ERVIND. All they wanted to make sure they have ERND. And because they know our people don't know, and the packaging look the same, they bought it. But all of the looking were not packaged the same way. There's a hidden inflation, even in cologne, in soap, and we achieve it every day. And those basis. I'm glad that when we go through school, we have a WIAC exam. Tell you whether we are at the 12th grade standard, graduate standards are very important. The industries, they are very important to our economic life. I have been in our house for 44 years. When the alumni, I think I would put there, still there. Today you go on the market, you buy what they call aluminum. It's not the same thing. The shortchange us every day because we don't know. Even the steel oil you buy, you get shortchange every day. And even when you go to buy gasoline, are you getting the same quantity? So today we'll be dedicating this. That is what
President Joseph Boakai, they're speaking. Former Vice President Dr. Jorah Tiller has described the death of her son, Philip Charles Tiller, as the greatest challenge of her life. She made a statement on Wednesday during the funeral service held in Banga, where she has expressed deep gratitude for the overwhelming support received from across Liberia. Speaking at the ceremony, the former Vice President thanked God for what she described as His mercy and grace, noting that her faith has remained strong despite the painful loss.
I never get lost. The President of the Republic of Colombia, all of the elected party officials, former President George Maria, all of the former government officials, members of the county caucus, very social. Over the last 2 weeks, I've received more than 4,000 visitors from all walks of life. There was a real shock for me to show them a lot of love and care and concern at the passing of my only son that has now been the office into many sons. I want to thank you. Send the boy head of the caucus, every single member of the caucus. I also didn't tell you who I always watch. When I called him and said, it will be better for me to be faithful to Mama than for Mama to come to Monrovia. She said, forget it, his son. I didn't have to do anything. And thank you for the prime of my heart. I want to thank my father, my sisters, and all of the members of the clergy who have stood around, even though they were busy to do other things. They made sure that everything was enough. So the entire platform, members of the Brown Council, the legal association, members of the unity party, watching us. I think this is a sign of true representation. Because when something happens and a death occurs, I believe the death was us everything. So I want to
Former Vice President Dr. Joe Howard Tiller, the speaking, an American evangelist, is acknowledging Liberian youths to prepare themselves for a brighter future, noting that youths in Liberia constitute a significant number. Therefore, they should be able to take full responsibility. Jeff Wobohurst wants young Liberians to begin training themselves for the future because the current generation is fading gradually. He spoke at the third day of the 17th Biennial General Conference of the Apostolic Church International in Buroville, outside Monrovia.
Liberia population is growing. The current population of the country is 5,737,206, which is up from 33.4 million in 2008. It grows at the rate of 2.11%. A high percentage, 63% of the population, is under 25 years of age. So you have a very young country. So the young people are very important in this country. You youth are 100% of the future. One day, us older people, we're going to go off the scene. So if we want Liberia to prosper, we have to invest in the young people, and you young people need to rise up and take responsibility and grow, because you're going to take the place sooner or later of the older people. A growing young population is essential to the future development and stability of a country. Challenges are present.
Away from home, at least 34 people have been killed in coordinated attacks by suspected Islamist militants in several villages in northwestern Nigeria, officials have told the BBC. The gunmen launched simultaneous assaults on multiple communities in a remote border district in Kebbi State on Tuesday, overwhelming local defenses and forcing residents to flee their homes. Survivors described the attackers as hardly organized, saying they swept through villages firing indiscriminately at residents. Officials have blamed the relatively new insurgent group, which is known to operate in the area. It was targeted by U.S. airstrikes in December further north in Sokoto State. And police in South Africa have arrested the youngest son of Zimbabwe's late former president Robert Mugabe, who is facing a charge of attempted murder after a reported shooting at a property in upmarket suburb of Johannesburg. Balimin Mugabe, 28, was taken into custody after a 23-year-old man believed to be a gardener was shot and injured. Officers searching the house in Yan Park where Mugabe was staying have found bullet print but no firearm, police have said. Well, on that note, that's how we come to the near end of this edition of King's Newsroom. But before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headlines. National Bureau of Conception Director General calls for reform in mineral development agreements formulation for enhanced national development. DG Henson Kiazuru discloses over US 10 million generation through compliance monitoring. 14th Judicial Circuit Court in Riverside County sentences 55-year-old Nigerian national Joe Okai to 10 years imprisonment for drug trafficking. You also heard in the news Supreme Court Justice in Chambers, James Elton Howard Wolokoli orders preserved petroleum arbitration dispute overturns commercial court ruling in Simmert's Oil and Gas Company and the Liberia Petroleum Refining Company. Away from home, at least 34 people have been killed in coordinated attacks by suspected Islamist militants on several villages in northwestern Nigeria, officials have told the BBC. Police in South Africa have arrested the youngest son of Zimbabwe's late former president Robert Mugabe, who is facing a charge of attempted murder after a reported shooting at a property in upmarket suburb of Johannesburg. Many thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom a success. Jenny Peshiman brought you the news bulletin. Inside controls. On behalf of the team, I'm Shaman Dale. I presented. Thanks for listening and watching.